Eventually, your active substrate will need to be replaced when the nutrients are exhausted or when your active soil breaks down. Here's my method. Welcome everyone, it's Ray from RW Aquarium Pages, capturing my journey in planted aquariums, shrimp tanks, and everything in between. Common questions I get asked about active substrate is how often and how do I replace the substrate? In this video, I'll share my methods and theory behind it. When you keep and breed Caridina shrimp, they mostly require specific water parameters. I'll mention those in my previous video. Typically, they're softer water and lower pH. Caridina shrimp breeders achieve this by using an active substrate, such as the gold standard 88 Amazonia, Aquareal Neo Substrate, Tropica, Fluvostranum are the ones I've personally used, but there's also Brightwell, Contrasoil, and Academa Bonsai soil, but these aren't available in my area. Active soils are basically peat in the middle with a clay-based bake around it, and there's some different types of vitamins and content in various ratios of composition. That's the base theory. Some, like the 88 Amazonia, have ammonia in them. This is important as they were designed for new planted tanks and the initial stages of cycling the tank. The good bacteria needs ammonia to feed on. As shrimp keepers, ammonia is toxic to the shrimp's health. It has to be released or completely gone before using them in shrimp tanks. I've personally found that ADA lasts for about 3 to 4 years before it needs to be changed, depending on the batch. Tropica lasts at most a year, and that's just been proven by my friend Gord's planted tank. It crashed after about a year. Aquareal Neo Substrate is fairly new, and I've only used it for about 1.5 years, and so far it's been successful. If you search the internet, ADA releases a lot of ammonia for about 6 to 8 weeks initially. Aquareal, in my experience, it's about 5 to 6 weeks of ammonia release, not the advertised 2 weeks. Tropica, it's about 2 weeks of ammonia, and Fluvostranum has no ammonia. Many professional shrimp keepers, and also myself, swap out some or all of the substrate in about a year's time. Swapping substrates can be a daunting task, but I've been using this different method for my tank for the past few years with success, and I'd like to share it with everyone. First, I will age the substrate in a bucket of water for 6 to 8 weeks. That's just using tap water. At the end of the period, I would do 100% water changes for 3 days in a row. I would test the ammonia levels. If it's 0, then it's good to go. If it's not, then do a few more 100% water changes or age it a little bit longer. Once that's done, the substrate is considered safe for shrimp. If you don't replace the substrate, it will eventually crumble and turn into mud. That's quite unpleasant to deal with. In my Caridina breeding tanks, the substrate level is about 1 inch thick. After about a year, I'd take up 1 cup of the area and pour in fresh, aged substrate. I keep repeating this until I've covered all the areas daily, and voila, it's done and refreshed. It's important to refresh the substrate for a few reasons. One of them is the active buffering, and it will continue to buffer your water parameters to the correct range. Second, it's to change and clean it out before it turns into mud or mush-like. And the third and most important thing is, you'll notice your shrimp, they'll be even more active when the new substrate is added. The method that I don't use is the replace all method. It's very disruptive to the shrimp, but I've done it a few times and in a new setup of an aquarium. The only problem is I'll always miss a few shrimp when I'm scooping them. On the side note, if my shrimp hasn't bred for a while, the shock or the pleasure of the new substrate triggers them to breed. I recently switched over to a new shrimp rack with new substrate. There's 16 aquariums in total. They were all healthy and breeding before, but the move did shock them, and all the tanks have buried shrimp and are filled with baby shrimp now. I will have more videos on my new shrimp rack shortly. It's designed with a clean layout where the shrimp are displayed naturally while maximizing their breeding surface area. There's other designs when using an under gravel box, which I haven't tried yet, but it's a little bit unsightly for me. There's also hanging sacks of substrate in a bag. That's a pretty good idea and easy to change out, but unfortunately, it's a pretty unsightly for me. Which method do you use to replace active substrate? Any issues with those methods? Or have you tried the one scoop method before? Sneak peek on my next video topic. It'll be about vacuuming the shrimp substrate, substrate guards, and feeding dishes. I love sharing my experiences, successfuls, and failures with everyone, and capturing my journey in planted shrimp tanks. Stay tuned for more informative videos.